Imagine, in a single night, humanity lost 90% of all knowledge from the ancient world. This is not fiction. This is reality. 3 centuries before Christ, on the Mediterranean coast stood Alexandria, the center of the ancient world. A magnificent city where east met west, where the great lighthouse guided ships laden with treasures and knowledge into its harbor. Here, in the greatest library of all time, 700,000 scrolls lined endless shelves, the complete works of Aristotle, the tragedies of Sophocles, Euclid's geometry, Babylonian star charts, Indian medical texts. Scholars from every nation walked these halls, reading, writing, debating, preserving 3,000 years of human wisdom. But flames consumed it all. The scrolls turned to ash, the knowledge lost forever. And today, we will try to understand what exactly did humanity lose on that fateful day, and how did it change our history forever? It all began with one man, Ptolemy I, a general of Alexander the Great. After the death of the great conqueror, Ptolemy received Egypt. But he didn't want to be just a ruler. He dreamed of creating a center of knowledge that would surpass anything that had ever existed. And in 305 BC, his dream began to come to life. Ptolemy created the Mausoleum, the Temple of the Muses, dedicated to science and art. This was not just a library. This was the world's first research institute. Scholars from across the world lived here. They were paid salaries, exempted from taxes, provided with housing. The only condition: devote your life to science. But how do you gather all the knowledge of the world in one place? The Ptolemies acted radically. Every ship entering the Alexandrian harbor was searched, not for contraband, but for books. Any scroll found was confiscated, copied, and the owner received back a copy. The original remained in the library. This was called the ship collection. By the 1st century BC, the library held between 400 and 700,000 scrolls. These were works in Greek, Egyptian, Phoenician, Persian, Indian languages. Here were the original plays of Sophocles and Euripides, the complete works of Aristotle, the mathematical treatises of Euclid, astronomical observations from Babylon, medical texts from India. Within the library's walls worked the greatest minds of antiquity. Euclid created the foundations of geometry here. Eratosthenes calculated the circumference of the earth with astonishing accuracy. Herophilus studied human anatomy, doing what was forbidden everywhere else. Archimedes came here to learn. This was the place where science was born. So what exactly was lost? Let's start with literature. Of the 123 plays written by Sophocles, only 7 survived. 92 plays by Euripides, only 18 remain. Aeschylus wrote 90 plays. We have 7. Imagine, entire genres of ancient drama lost forever. But literature was just the beginning. The complete works of Aristotle, gone. What we have today are lecture notes, fragments, reconstructions. His dialogues, his poetry, his letters, all burned. We lost the mind that shaped Western philosophy. Mathematics and science suffered even more. Euclid's original manuscripts destroyed. We work from copies of copies of copies. Archimedes' complete works, most lost. His treatises on mechanics, optics, astronomy, vanished. Eratosthenes calculated the Earth's circumference to within 50 kilometers. His methods, his calculations, all gone. The medical knowledge was staggering. Herophilus performed over 600 dissections, documenting every detail of human anatomy. All lost. Indian Ayurvedic texts, Chinese medical treatises brought by Silk Road traders, Persian surgical techniques, Egyptian pharmacology, centuries of medical advancement erased. And then there were the maps. Eratosthenes created a world map showing India, Ceylon, even hints of lands beyond. Trade routes to China, Africa, the Atlantic, all burned. We had to rediscover the world all over again. But perhaps the greatest loss was diversity of thought. We lost the voices of Egyptian priests, Phoenician navigators, Persian astronomers, Indian mathematicians, Babylonian scholars. Only Greek and Roman texts survived in significant numbers. We lost 90% of human intellectual diversity, and we'll never get it back. So how did it happen? How did humanity's greatest treasure simply vanish? The truth is, there was no single catastrophic event. The destruction of the Library of Alexandria happened gradually, over centuries, through a series of disasters, wars, and neglect. The first blow came in 48 BC. Julius Caesar arrived in Alexandria, pursuing his rival Pompey. Caesar found himself trapped in the royal palace, surrounded by Egyptian forces. In desperation, he ordered his men to set fire to the Egyptian fleet in the harbor. The fire spread uncontrollably. Flames leaped from ship to ship, then to the warehouses on the docks. And those warehouses were filled with scrolls, waiting to be cataloged and moved to the library. Ancient sources claim 40,000 scrolls burned that night. Caesar never mentioned it in his writings, perhaps out of shame. The second disaster struck in 271 AD. Emperor Aurelian fought to recapture Alexandria from Queen Zenobia of Palmyra. The fighting was brutal. The Bruchian Quarter, where the main library stood, was devastated. Buildings burned. Scholars fled or were killed. The Mouseion, the Temple of the Muses, was destroyed. What scrolls remained were scattered, lost, or burned in the chaos of war. But the final blow came not from fire or war, but from ideology. In 391 AD, Roman Emperor Theodosius I issued a decree. All pagan temples must be closed. Christianity was now the official religion of the empire. And the Library of Alexandria, with its Greek philosophy, its scientific inquiry, its diverse cultural knowledge, was seen as a threat, as paganism. The Christian patriarch of Alexandria, Theophilus, led a mob. They stormed the Serapeum, the daughter library that held the remaining scrolls. Statues of pagan gods were smashed, temples were demolished, and the scrolls, centuries of accumulated human knowledge were burned, systematically, deliberately, in the name of religious purity. Some historians argue there was one more destruction. In 641 AD, Arab forces conquered Alexandria. The Caliph Omar allegedly gave an order. If the books agree with the Quran, they are unnecessary. If they disagree, they are heretical. Either way, burn them. Whether this story is true remains debated. But by then, there was almost nothing left to burn. The Library of Alexandria died, not in a single night of flames, but slowly, over 7 centuries. Through accident, through war, through religious zealotry, and through simple neglect. Humanity's greatest achievement erased, and we are still living with the consequences. But here's the question that haunts historians. What if the library had survived? What if those scrolls had been preserved, protected, copied, and passed down through the generations? How different would our world be today? Let's imagine an alternate timeline. It's the year 500 AD. In our real history, Europe is entering the Dark Ages. Knowledge is being lost. But in this alternate world, the Library of Alexandria still stands. Scholars from across the Mediterranean, from Persia, from India, from Africa, continue to study, to copy texts, to preserve knowledge. The works of Aristotle, Archimedes, Euripides, Sappho, all intact, not fragments, complete. And new scholars build on that knowledge. By the year 1000 AD, in our timeline, Europe is still struggling through medieval darkness. But in the alternate timeline, Hero's steam engine isn't forgotten. It's been developed, refined. The Industrial Revolution doesn't happen in 1700. It happens in the year 500. 1500 years earlier. Mathematics advances continuously. Astronomy progresses without interruption. Medicine builds on Galen's complete works. How many lives are saved? Millions. By 1200 AD, in our world, we're still using primitive navigation. But in the alternate timeline, Eratosthenes' complete geographical works have been preserved and expanded. The age of exploration doesn't begin in 1492. It begins in 900 AD, 600 years earlier. By 1500 AD, in our timeline, we're just beginning the Renaissance. But in the alternate timeline, we're already in what would be our Industrial Revolution, steam power, mechanical engineering. And today, in 2025, in the alternate timeline, humanity might be an interplanetary species. Colonies on Mars, stations on the moon, technology we can barely imagine. But that's not our timeline. In our world, the library burned. The knowledge was lost. The Renaissance wasn't a birth of new knowledge. It was a recovery, a desperate attempt to find and translate the fragments that survived. And we're still finding those fragments today, still discovering lost texts, still realizing how much we don't know about what we once knew. The loss of the Library of Alexandria wasn't just about books. It was about time. It set human progress back by centuries, perhaps by over a millennium. Every medical breakthrough that came too late, every technological innovation that was delayed, every life that could have been saved, if we had just preserved what we once had. Today, scholars around the world continue the search. In monastery basements, in desert caves, in private collections, hunting for fragments, pieces of scrolls, traces of lost knowledge. Every discovery is bittersweet, a glimpse of what we lost. In 2011, researchers found a lost play by Sophocles, hidden beneath medieval text on a palimpsest. One play, out of over 100 he wrote. What else is still out there? What else was lost forever? The Library of Alexandria was more than a building. It was humanity's memory, our collective knowledge, and when it burned, we lost part of ourselves. But its legacy lives on. In every library, in every archive, in every effort to preserve and share knowledge. The lesson is clear. Knowledge is fragile. It must be protected, copied, shared, preserved, because once it's lost, it may be gone forever. The Library of Alexandria is gone, but its mission continues in every one of us who seeks to learn, to preserve, to remember.